Hi, friend. I'm really glad you're here. If you've ever looked around your home and thought, I just cleaned this, why does it feel like chaos again? You're not alone. For years, I believed a bunch of things about decluttering that only made everything harder. Rules that sounded smart, but actually left me stuck, tired, and overwhelmed. So in this video, I'm sharing 7 decluttering myths that held me back and what finally helped me move forward. Let's get into it. Mistake 1. Thinking. You have to get rid of anything that isn't useful. Let's start with something that surprises people. You don't have to get rid of everything that isn't practical. If something makes you smile, even if it's a bit quirky or sentimental, it's okay to keep it. I used to feel guilty about holding on to certain things. A chipped mug that reminded me of my grandma, a sparkly pen I never used, a drawer full of silly souvenirs. But those little things made me feel more like me. The real trick. Set a gentle limit. Not get rid of it all, just don't let it take over. Pick a shelf, one small box, a single drawer. When it's full, that's your boundary. This way, your space stays calm, but still feels personal and warm. You're not decluttering to become a minimalist. You're doing it to feel at home in your home. And honestly, what's made the biggest difference for me hasn't been the big cleanouts. It's the quiet little things I've started doing without even thinking. Wiping the bathroom counter before I walk away. Putting one thing back while the kettle boils. Tiny habits almost invisible, but over time they've cleared so much more than just the surfaces. I'll share more about those tomorrow, the small rhythms that help me stay clear without the pressure. But for now, let's move on to another mindset that held me back for way too long. Mistake 2. Believing there's a right amount for everything. At one point, I really believed I was doing it wrong simply because I didn't have the right number of things. 10 books, 3 pairs of jeans, a 33-piece wardrobe. There's so much advice out there and it sounds helpful. Until it doesn't. I'd hear someone say, I only own 5 mugs, and suddenly I was looking at my kitchen shelf wondering if I was failing. But here's the truth. There is no magic number. Not for clothes, not for shoes, not for how many pens or spatulas or notebooks you're allowed to have. The right number is the one that works in your life with your energy, your space, and your season of life. It took me years to realize that. I tried building the perfect capsule wardrobe, and all it did was confuse me. What helped more was paying attention to how I actually lived, what clothes I wore most, what I reached for daily, what felt like enough, not too much, not too little. And sometimes that number changes. During busy seasons, I keep fewer choices. When I have more time or energy, I might enjoy variety. This is not about rules. It's about rhythm. And the more you tune into your own, the less pressure you'll feel to match anyone else's version of simple. What matters isn't how much you own, it's how what you own makes you feel. Let's talk about another pressure we quietly carry, one that turns decluttering into an all-or-nothing event. Mistake 3. Thinking you need to buy organizers before you declutter. I used to believe that if I just found the perfect basket shelf or label system, then my home would finally stay organized. I'd spend hours looking at storage ideas online, convinced that the problem was my lack of the right container. But the truth is, clutter isn't fixed with better bins. And in most cases, buying more organizing stuff too early just adds to the mess. I learned that the hard way. After one major decluttering spree, I ended up with a closet full of empty containers I no longer needed, and a good dose of regret for the money I'd wasted. Now, I start with what I already have. A shoebox, a random basket under the bed, even a sturdy shopping bag tucked in the pantry. I use them to test out where things should live, how I move through a space before I ever spend a cent. Only after a system actually works do I think about buying something to match it. And most of the time, simple still works best. A Sharpie, a piece of tape, one clear rule: everything has a home. Decluttering doesn't start with buying. It starts with choosing less and letting your space teach you what it really needs. And once I stopped buying in hopes of getting organized, I finally started feeling organized. Let's move on to a mindset that drained more energy than anything else: the pressure to do it perfectly all at once. Mistake 4. Treating decluttering like a one-time event. There was a time I believed that if I could just power through one massive clean-out, everything would finally stay in order. I imagined a dramatic before and after moment, like those makeover shows, and thought, this is it. After this, I'll be done. But real life doesn't work that way. Our homes and our needs are always changing. Seasons shift, kids grow, hobbies come and go. So it makes sense that what we own needs to shift too. Decluttering isn't something you finish. It's something you fold into your life, a quiet habit, not a one-time fix. These days, I don't declutter in big batches anymore. I do it as I notice things. A shirt that no longer fits into the basket by the door. A gadget I haven't touched in 6 months. Out it goes. I keep a box tucked away, and when it's full, I let it go. No stress, no big event. And yes, sometimes a space needs a little extra attention. But even then, I remind myself, this is maintenance, not failure. The more I treat it like brushing my teeth, instead of deep cleaning the house, the lighter it feels. Let's look at another belief that kept me stuck for way too long, the idea that I had to do it the right way or not at all. Mistake 5. Believing there's only one right way to declutter. I used to think I was doing it wrong just because I couldn't follow someone else's method exactly. I'd watch videos or read books and feel inspired until I actually tried to do it their way. Gather all your clothes in one pile that gave me so much anxiety I avoided the task altogether. Spark joy. Honestly, half my stuff just felt like clutter with guilt attached. That's when I realized there's no universal formula for this. Yes, some methods are helpful. Yes, some people thrive with structure. But if a method overwhelms you, it's okay to let it go. I started picking and choosing what actually worked for me. One drawer at a time, one shelf while the pasta boils. Sometimes I use a timer. Other times I just follow my energy. And that shift from perfection to progress is what finally got me moving again. Because the right way to declutter is the one that you'll actually do. We'll talk next about one more idea that sounds helpful but can quietly steal your energy if you're not careful. Mistake 6. Expecting decluttering to feel good right away. People often say you'll feel so much better after you declutter. And yes, sometimes that's true. But honestly, it doesn't always feel good in the moment. Letting go can be emotional. You're not just choosing between items, you're sorting through guilt, memories, expectations, even identity. There were times I sat on the floor surrounded by piles, and instead of relief, I felt stuck. Stuck between I might need this and I should have let it go years ago. That's when I realized just because it's hard doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. I started building in softer ways to support myself, giving myself a time limit so it didn't take over the day. Creating a maybe box for anything I wasn't sure about. Letting myself take breaks even if nothing got finished. Decluttering isn't always joyful, but it does help once you let go of the pressure to feel amazing right away. Sometimes the calm comes later when you open a drawer and don't feel dread. When your morning routine is a little smoother. When you walk into a room and breathe easier. Next, let's talk about something many of us don't even notice we're doing, a habit that quietly undoes all our progress without us realizing it. Mistake 7. Decluttering without changing what comes in. For the longest time, I wondered why my home still felt full, even though I was constantly decluttering. Every week, I'd fill a bag or box, and yet nothing seemed to shift. Until one day I realized I wasn't just letting go. I was also bringing more in without noticing. It wasn't always big shopping sprees. Sometimes it was a quick treat after a long day, or stocking up on things just in case. But slowly, quietly, it added up and undone all the effort I thought I'd made. Here's the part no one tells you. Decluttering won't help if you're constantly recluttering, and this isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. I had to get really honest with myself about the why behind my purchases. Was I bored? Was I anxious? Was I trying to feel in control by buying something new? When I started asking those questions and pressing pause before clicking, add to cart things finally shifted. Now I try to match every in with an out. One thing in, one thing out. And more often than not, I realize I don't actually need the new thing at all. Decluttering is just one side of the equation. The real peace comes when what's coming into your home slows down too. So those are the 7 mindset shifts that quietly changed everything for me. No strict systems, no perfect before and afters. Just softer ways of thinking that made decluttering feel less like a battle. If your home still feels full or your brain feels loud, it's not because you're failing. It's probably just because you've been carrying some of these quiet rules without realizing it. Try loosening your grip on just one of them. Let yourself keep something silly. Take 5 minutes instead of 5 hours. Let your way be your way, even if it doesn't look like anyone else's. If you're craving a home that feels lighter, not just cleaner, if you want small habits that make a big difference over time, I'll be sharing more of that tomorrow, the tiny rhythms that help me stay clear without starting over every week. But for now, I just want to say, you're doing better than you think. And your home doesn't need to be perfect to feel peaceful. If this video helped you breathe a little easier, you can subscribe for more gentle, realistic ways to reset your space and your mind. I'll see you soon.